Hey Monty, let's take a look at this week six final project that you have in here. I think there are some elements of this drawing that are working out well, but I think the main issue that I'm having with it is really kind of the lack of change that's occurred from iteration to iteration, from the thumbnail to the color study to the assignment that we saw, a week and a half ago, to this one. I feel like you've made one kind of drawing and just kind of made changes on top of it, rather than trying to work a little bit more comprehensively and approaching it kind of from anew, but with still the same basic idea in mind. And we really see it as we switch back and forth between the two drawings. The one that just came a week and a half ago, it is the same drawing that's here, with the addition of the texture on the building and some kind of value work being done in the background and the lights in the buildings in the background. But I think the fundamental issues that we were seeing in this one still remain, which is a real lack of a kind of immersion into the composition, and a very kind of low amount of complexity and visual interest. I think the addition of some buildings in place, even if there was kind of one extra building or two, I think would be more effective. I think could really help how this feels as an urban environment. I think having elements like doors, rendering things like the windows so that the light actually feels like it's emanating out of them, are things that would help to make it feel like an environment that we could kind of step into. But it's very kind of bare bones in that regard. There's not really any kind of understanding of proportions in relation to a human being other than the light post, in which case I don't know how big this light post really is. Is it a street lamp light post? Is it just kind of an odd light post that's in the middle of this kind of very, what I'm assuming, large vacant lot? How does a person kind of relate to these buildings? There's also kind of just the issue that it's not really integrating into the environment. And these are all things that we said, whether it was in the last assignment or the assignment before that. But things like sidewalks, or again doorways or paths leading to the doorways, these types of things are really kind of easy to overlook, but are integral to making environments feel convincing. So I think that that's something that first and foremost really feels like it still needs to be worked with. Texturally, the building with the brick, I think, is well done. The brick is aligning with the perspective. They feel very proportionate to each other. The coloring is very good. But that's really the only texture we have within the piece. The green building has a lot of coverage, but it doesn't have anything else really going on with it, and there's some uneven spots within the coverage. The ground plane itself as well, it's got decent coverage, but there's not really anything going on in terms of the texture. So there's a lot of these areas which have marker being applied to them, but not much else to it, although the background has some of that colored pencil for the lighting. And I think, again, that's just something that could be pushed more, something that could be dealt with to add a little bit more, visual interest. I think the details that you've added from the last one to this one, what has been added is a welcome addition, and they are all, well done. But they're also, it's very minimal, and I think for having almost 2 entire weeks to go from this point to this point, there is a lot more that I think could have been done, a lot more attention being put to kind of getting this to feel a lot more comprehensive. And I think even starting with a new drawing and being able to use this as the foundation, but expanding on it, is something that's definitely feasible with the amount of time that was available. So not even kind of counting the days that are taken up by the holidays. So it has a lot of potential. And things that are in place, I think, are working out well, but I also think it definitely needs a lot more to it.